Around the city of Milan today, you can hear a pin drop. All the noise and all the focus concentrated on San Siro, where 80,000 hugely partisan fans are congregated for this season's first Milan Derby, Inter against Milan. It's our featured match today, and always one of football's finest occasions. Milan have so many excellent players at their disposal that today they can play Albertini at number 4 in preference to Carlo Ancelotti, that battle-hardened veteran. There's no room either for Evani, and Diego Fuser, who came on as a substitute a week ago and scored against Cremonese, can't even win a place on the bench. As for Inter, there's a cautious look to Ulrico's selection, a defence which has Bergami back after missing the last 2 games, and Giuseppe Baresi, Beppe Baresi, who made his Inter debut 14 years ago, is a surprise selection for his first game of the season, presumably to stiffen the team's resolve in the middle of the field. The match and the emotions of the players in the hands of Pierluigi Pairetto. Inter carry the hopes not only of their half of this football-crazy city, but also the other top clubs in the league. A Milan victory today would really confirm their early season claim to the championship. So far, they've looked a cut above the other challengers, but this is a huge test for them. The atmosphere of these derby days, well, it almost defies description, so it's a particular pleasure to have alongside me Ray Wilkins, who as a former Milan player knows all about the difficulties and the delights of afternoons such as these.
I didn't actually find too many difficulties, Martin. These games are just a joy to play, and the Milan Derby is without doubt the greatest derby in the world, in my opinion. The atmosphere is just electric. It's been going on all week. It's a bit like our cup final. They go about it all week, and it's a marvellous occasion, and for the players it's just a pleasure to be there.
It often flies in the face of current form as well, but Milan unbeaten, settling in neatly to life under Fabio Capello now, the successor to Arrigo Sacchi. Walter Zenga in Inter's goal has been through these challenges many times before. Born in the city of Milan. Inter also under different guidance this season, and Van Basten has got round the goalkeeper. Massaro's in the centre, can he pick him out? He can't. Andy Bremer is there, and Inter, who've not really pulled up too many trees. They've only lost once this season, but they found goal scoring very hard, and therefore to concede an early goal here would potentially have been crippling for their hopes in this derby. And with Van Basten, this thoroughbred, bursting through then, well, the possibilities were there.
Absolutely, Martin. That was a great pass. I think it was Albertini put him through, but Van Basten looks very, very sharp. And in actual fact, the first couple of minutes here, the game has really started off at a terrific pace. I'm sure we're in for a cracking match.
Just the feeling that Inter have gone on the defensive in their team selection, bringing back Beppe Baresi, Franco's older brother. He's wearing number 7, and as the senior citizen, when he returns, he gets the captain's armband as well. Here's Donadoni, really a star player, filling every shirt on the pitch. Fontolan couldn't get very far. The Dutch trio have a big international game coming up in midweek when Holland go to Greece in the European Championship, still needing a point to be sure of their place in Sweden. Here's Massaro. Good running by Donadoni. Van Basten slipped at the crucial moment, and Donadoni then fell. And I don't think really expected to get much help from referee Pierluigi Pairetto. Massaro was very much the architect of the attack. And when Donadoni took it on, Van Basten had already gone to ground, lost his balance in the centre.
I think he actually lost control of the ball as well, but that was a brilliant break from Daniele Massaro, and he put Donadoni in with the perfect pass. And the thing about the pass was the timing of the ball. If it had taken another touch, I'm sure they'd have caught Donadoni offside, but the timing was perfect. Donadoni went in on goal, and I think he just lost control at the vital moment.
Carlo Ancelotti leaning forward there, and Ray, you were a bit disappointed to find that he wasn't picked.
Well, I'm an enormous fan of Ancelotti, and I think in a derby as well, obviously I've never seen Albertini play, I haven't had the privilege of seeing him play, but in a derby such as this, the calming influence of an Ancelotti is vital, and I think that's why Beppe Brave's been brought in for Inter, and I'd like to have seen Ancelotti been playing for Milan, to allow the other guys like Rijkaard, Gullit to push forward.
But that's Albertini's pass, and very nearly opened Inter up. Albertini, the 20-year-old who's been getting rave reviews this season.
Yes, and that really was a wonderful through ball as well, just a couple of yards too far for Gullit.
Here he is again, Gullit, and the defender who is penalised here is Marcello Montanari. And it was a question, really, of interpretation by the referee here as to what damage Gullit might have caused had he been able to go on.
Well, I think, as we see, there was no actual contact, but he did come across with studs flying, and in Italian football, once your studs are up in the air, it's a free kick.
We're in the 12th minute of the 212th Milan Derby. Milan, the older club, slightly hold the balance of power in terms of previous results. Donadoni takes the free kick. Oh, and Gullit got his head to it, and Inter scrambled the ball away. You do feel that Milan have come out as the side that really wants to win this game, whereas Inter might be content to get a share of the spoils, or certainly to play on the break.
Definitely. I think when you see the way that both sides are playing, Milan do look a lot more confident on the ball. That was a great ball in from Donadoni, which Gullit rose tremendously well to hit the crossbar.
Must always give the opposition just the aspect of hope that there might be a slip in the line coming out together, but they were orderly then.
I think we say that every time we see Milan play, Martin, in actual fact, but Baresi has them organised in such a way that it's very seldom that you do actually see them get called offside.
Yes, from their point of view, far more pluses than minuses, but they have had goals docked against them when they've been looking at the linesman. And of course, the linesman is only human, and there is the risk of error from his point of view, as well as defensive error. But while they've been employing this style, they've had vast success here. Matthäus to Baresi. Matthäus again. And that's Bremer helping it on quickly to Baggio. That's a good cross. Berti wanted an extra touch. A header at goal was on for him if he'd have fancied trying that. It's all about selecting the right option. Gullit for Massaro and Van Basten. Milan have been showing the craft and the class. They've hit the bar, and now they've had a goal disallowed, is it? Van Basten wants to know. Costa Curta comes across. It looked a good goal. It is a good goal.
I thought there was a slight hint of offside, actually, Massaro. Massaro seemed to get in front of everybody, and I thought he may well have just been offside. But it was magnificent football. Now, in actual fact, seeing that, he does appear to come from behind me. But it's a great early ball in, and there's Van Basten sticking it in there. It was, in actual fact, a superb goal. It was a great build-up. Albertini played a super little one-touch pass to Gullit. But to initiate the goal, and it really was a tremendous move.
And for all the protests, it stands for Milan. And Massaro getting the ball accurately across the face of the goal, where Van Basten was arriving at top speed. Even then it needed some angling in, and he made that look very straightforward. For Marco Van Basten, his 8th goal of the season. And Milan with a lead that they deserve through their appetite and their ambition in the opening phase of the game.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I think they've been by far the better side in the opening 20 minutes, and Van Basten is very much like our own Gary Lineker in those positions. He doesn't miss. When he's in that 6-yard box, it's a goal.
Fontelan, Klinsmann, and now Inter have got to show more force and strength of character as well. Very painful to go behind in this fixture. And this is a chance for them to hit back straight away.
Looks a good tackle. Rijkaard did ever so well to get back with Matthäus, who had joined up with Klinsmann very well, and he did put his foot round him, but he did get the ball and pull it away. And I think they're a bit unfortunate to have the free kick against them.
Inter have put up their own wall, try and mask the view of the Milan line, which is being addressed now by the referee, and Franco Baresi has got a yellow card, and he'd be foolish to continue this.
I think what Baresi's actually saying is that he's obviously in front of the wall, but he's gone at such an angle that he is actually 9 metres or 10 yards from the ball. The referee's not accepting that, and unfortunately for Baresi, he's been booked. He's probably got a few more this season as well, so he wants to be very careful.
Well, the delay adds to the drama. Matthäus, and Rossi scoops it up. Sebastiano Rossi, who played his first league game for Milan in the previous derby, kept a clean sheet then and has been doing that on regular occasions since. Baggio's header. Donadoni got there first in front of Baresi. Rijkaard. Milan getting 2 players attracted to every ball, really. Another barometer reading, really, of their confidence. Inter not wanting to dwell on it. Matthäus, was it Baresi rather, who played that one? Yes, it was a bit below Matthäus' standards. But Milan, just the 1 goal to the good, and any misadventure at the back, and Inter would suddenly find themselves with confidence flooding through their veins. I hope that might happen from this free kick. Here's Baresi. And Rossi, who is a tall man and used his height and his reach. It was a cross that challenged him, particularly with Klinsmann coming in.
Yeah, with the cross coming in, as you say, Rossi is a tall guy, and he's travelled a hell of a distance there to get that, and that's a terrific take. And his distribution's been very good as well. He's willing to let the ball go very early.
Fontelan trying to be early with the cross, and Rossi slipped. Oh, and he slipped in another sense as well. But it just won't drop for Klinsmann. Any sort of goal would do for him. And maybe there'll be an opportunity now. Matthäus on the ball, and that was Bergami closest to the cross, hit back by Baresi, and there's offside aplenty. Suddenly, Inter starting to show some of their strengths.
Yes, a super cross in, and he does ever so well there to come out and get a punch that. But there's Baresi again, getting that defence up to the 18-yard box, and there's 4 of them offside.
Contolan. Now Bremer. Bertie setting off again. And Baresi with arrogance. It must be heartbreaking if you're an opponent to see a defender in a match of such dimension as this, playing as though it was a training five-a-side.
I think he's the prime example. He has the technique of a centre-forward, and he's obviously a world-class defender.
I should say that if Franco Baresi had an English branch to his fan club, Ray Wilkins would be the president.
Definitely.
And you don't have to apologise for that, Ray. Van Basten for Hullet. Zenga stays on his line, knowing there's a cross to be dealt with. Oh, well, the whistle has gone.
That's brilliant football again. I think the ball just stood up on Goulet as he was about to hit it into the box. But Zenga does well on the far post and takes a bit of a knock on the shin. But they're playing some really good football, Milan. They can be very happy with the first half performance.
And with Inter now having to chase the game a little bit more. Of course, there's still plenty of time for patience to bring its reward as well. But there's just that much more space. But the space here for Klinsmann. That's the way it's been going for him this season. Rossi rightly angry. But Klinsmann suddenly had no opponent around him at all. In a central position, just outside the penalty area.
Yes, he's snatching at the ball. I think that is the sign of a player out of confidence, is when he starts snatching at the ball. And he didn't even hit the target there with a lot of room for himself. And he's definitely having a little snatch at the moment.
Bertie, who has looked to be a major thorn in the side of Milan. There haven't been many of them. Klinsmann has made his runs. He has, as we've been stressing, looked what he is, a striker in need of a goal. But the more incisive football throughout the first half has come from the team that's leading. And Inter mounting a sturdy finish for the first 45 minutes. Massaro stretching them on this near side again, though. And Hullet. The cross takes out Zenga, knocked back by Van Basten. Massaro wallops it into the net, but the whistle has gone. And the linesman is certainly the object of the wrath of Inter, particularly. Obviously, they got the decision that time, but particularly in the way the goal was scored, which led to lengthy protests, but was the reward that Milan deserved for an excellent move in that particular attack, which Massaro and Hullet played a major part, and was rounded off by Marco Van Basten, but also for the quality of their general play until the last 10 minutes or so, and they're having to dart in now at the end of the ground where the Inter supporters are congregated, and I'm not too sure they're very selective who they're throwing missiles at. That's an unseemly end to a first half that's been full of good things. It's been a pleasure to watch it microphone in hand, and at half-time it's Inter 0, Milan 1. Well, the first half was typical of these derby days in Milan. Plenty of fine football, some fiery moments as well. And Milan certainly deserving to be a goal in front, but they will have perhaps spoken at half-time about the way that Inter did just begin to offer a little more to threaten that lead as the half drew to a close. Incidentally, here we've also had the opportunity to study the goal again, and if there was any offside in the move, suggestion perhaps that Van Basten in the centre of the picture was offside as the move built up rather than when the ball was played to him. And maybe that's why the Inter players came out for the second half, still discussing the matter with referee Pareto. It's in the history books now. But Inter have a free kick. Remember, Baresi, Franco Baresi, that is already booked for not going back the full distance. Mateus, we've seen him put those between the posts before. Fontalan was following in. That one flew just outside. Walter Zenga had a long-range view of it.
Yeah, tremendous shot. Not the best ball I've ever seen in my life, but that was a terrific shot and just a whisker away.
Ray Wilkins, how do you think Milan will approach the second half now?
I think they're going to have to watch for the first 20 minutes to stem the tide. Obviously, Inter have had a stern old talking to in the dressing room, and they'll be coming out with all guns blazing.
For the moment, Ferry, though, disputing the free kick given against Inter. We're 6 minutes into the second half, and Inter cannot afford to go 2 goals adrift. Milan have conceded only 5 in the 11 league games before today. They've now taken their season's tally to 20 scored, starting the day as the top scorers in the division as well as the league leaders. So Zenga has the wall where he wants them. Rijkaard, and the wall does its job. Hullet, it's an awkward ball to hit, and whether he was trying to get it at goal or just across the face, that's certainly where it ended up. Senga again berating the linesman, and that's why he's in trouble.
And I think the referee's right as well. Zenga actually has a pop at everybody after every decision that's made, and that's good refereeing, that's putting him in his place.
Well, he's played 53 times for Italy. His place now under threat. He was out of the Inter side injured when the last international was played, and Pagliuca of Sampdoria got in. He's always been a colourful character. His life is high profile. And now he's upset Pierluigi Pareto, and the referee, I think, quite entitled to produce the yellow card for dissent. Desideri is on for Inter. That's not a surprise. Perhaps the only surprise that wasn't made at half-time. This is Maldini cropping up in the middle. Hullet, who is, amongst all his gifts, expert in the air as well. And sometimes a player coming in from the right-hand side can get freedom to head for goal more than the central strikers who are well marked. Van Basten is offside, so Desideri on. Ray, I'm sure you would go along with that tactical switch.
Yes, I think that had to happen. Inter have got to get the ball into the Milan half and hold the ball in there to allow the players from the midfield to come and join them. And Desideri is an experienced forward player, and I'm sure he'll do just that job.
Oh, Berti and Klinsmann. Milan are stunned. Klinsmann is thrilled. And Zenga goes to join in the delight. They can't believe their luck. They're level. And Desideri played a part. It was his cross first of all. And Berti followed up on a weak header from Costa Curta. Klinsmann got the benefit of that. And his poor spell in front of goal is over. It's his first goal of the season, and what a time to get it.
It's a smashing finish. It was a poor header from Costa Curta, but as the ball came back, he got himself into a great shape and hit the ball into the floor, and there was no hope for Rossi. But Inter have started very positively in the second half, and they deserve that goal for the way that they've come out and attacked Milan.
First of all, it was Marco van Basten of Milan and Holland. Now Jurgen Klinsmann of Inter and Germany. Van Basten for Hullet. Massaro making his run into the middle. Bremer made sure that the ball didn't arrive in that area. But as we've seen so often in the past, one of the strengths of Milan is their ability to get goals from set plays. With Van Basten, with Hullet, with Maldini, they've got excellent players to attack corners. Just over 15 minutes gone in the second half. Terry got to it though. Oh, and what's Klinsmann doing? That would have wiped the smile off his face if it had gone straight to Hullet. Rijkaard. Baresi. Easily getting the better of Berti. Donadoni, that's a terrific pass. Tassotti. Van Basten. And again. Rijkaard. Well, some of the might of Milan was back in evidence then from the moment the ball was swung across to the far side by Franco Baresi. A pass that had Ray Wilkins puffing out his cheeks in admiration.
It really was a fabulous pass, but the football itself after that pass was just fantastic. It was quick and it was early, and that's the main reason why Milan are such a good team. They see a pass and they play the pass, and their movement off the ball was excellent, and we nearly saw the second goal.
We should pay tribute to that tackle by Baggio on Van Basten that rescued Inter, and although the ball rolled for Rijkaard, the other angle from behind the goal proved just how far off target Rijkaard's shot was. Bremer. Inter 1, Milan 1. Berti, good tackle by Rijkaard. He's long in the leg, and he needed to be then to reach the ball. Nicola Berti, who has the build of a natural runner and a sharp football brain to go with it. Oh, and Desideri. Well, he's got goals like that for Roma over the past few years, coming from midfield with an acute sense of timing. It was a chance.
It was an excellent chance, and as you said before, I think Klinsmann has got another 6 inches in his leap, and as he flicked it on, Desideri took it on his chest and just hit it past the upright. He'd be very disappointed that he didn't actually hit the target here, because he is really a recognised goal scorer.
And Donadoni in particular will be relieved, because he was caught watching the ball rather than watching the man, and Desideri got inside him. Klinsmann is everywhere, and it's not only playing well, but he's getting some luck as well. And Baresi is off. A sensation in the Milan Derby. It's a second booking, and the player who's given the club so much service down the years in this fixture, shortly after his brother has been substituted on the other side. Franco Baresi gets the red card, and Milan are down to 10 men.
Yes, and unfortunately, I think I'm his greatest fan, and that he was committed to a tackle there, and it was his second bookable offence, and he definitely pulled Desideri down, and he has to go off the field. But it's a shame that he got booked for such a silly thing in the first half, in actual fact. Filippo Ghali's coming on. He's a super defender as well, and it must be very reassuring for Milan to know they have such a competent player coming on the field.
Well, Massaro is sacrificed now to get the defender on in Baresi's place. Filippo Ghali, who's been with Milan since 1983, knows all about the system at the back. Van Basten having to help out. These are very difficult times for the league leaders. The news will be echoing around all the First Division grounds this afternoon. As I said at the outset, really important for the chasing pack for Inter to stop Milan getting another victory here and maybe moving further away with their lead. Lovely work by Fontellane, a swift change of direction. Filippo Galli, who incidentally is no relation to the former Milan goalkeeper, Giovanni Galli.
He had a really promising career in front of him, Martin, until a couple of years ago, and he had a horrific knee operation, a rebuilding of the knee, and which kept him out of the side for a good couple of years. And Costa Curta's come in and done exceptionally well. Consequently, Filippo found himself on the bench. But he really is a good player, and he will absolutely be loving this coming on in the Milan Derby.
Fontellane, carefully down for Bremer. Montanari deciding to come forward. Mateus. And Inter have the luxury here of making Milan do the chasing with the extra man. Ferri. In the past hasn't been shy of shooting from long range, has one or two spectacular goals to his name. Just thought better of having a pot at goal then. More good work from Desideri. Oh, Filippo Galli's header nearly came for Fontellane to knock back across goal, almost in the manner of the way Milan conceded a goal. Desideri, great control, and Maldini was able to come back in and challenge again. As Desideri believes that there was an infringement then, and Zenga, who could not possibly have had any vantage point at all.
That was brilliant ball control, and Maldini, we see, just gets back. Oh my word, he did actually look as if he pushed him in the back. That could well have been a penalty, and I don't think they could have had too many arguments as well.
The players so close together that I don't think the referee could see exactly what was going on. And of course, he gave the defender the benefit of the doubt. And suddenly, the Inter fans have become a bit uneasy. It was glory, glory for them. They were thrilled with the goal, delighted to see that old foe, Franco Baresi, get the red card. But now Milan have the corner, but make no use of it at all.
That was a wasted corner. Obviously, playing with 10 men, you've got to make the most of those situations, and Donadoni's just given a good back pass to Zenga there.
Mateus. In each of the last two seasons, there's been one win apiece for the old adversaries in the league. Collet, look at it. He's burnt past Bremer. It was as if Andy Bremer wasn't there, and Collet enjoyed the run, but not the result of it.
Well, that was unbelievable. Now, Bremer is obviously a world-class defender, and he'd gone with the run of Goulet on the 1-2 with Van Basten, and he must have given him 5 yards, and he made him look as if he was standing still. Absolutely magnificent run, and obviously the pace he was going at, there wasn't any Milan players that could get in the box with him.
Fontellane off. Sciocchi, who's made some telling contributions from the bench already this season. Sadly, from his point of view, that's where he sat for much of the time. Returning to Inter, he was their player. He made his debut in 1987, left October 88 to Padova, Ancona and Cesena were other ports of call, spectacularly with Cesena, which earned him his return to Inter. Albertini was knocked as the pair of them jumped then. And I think he believed that it was going to be a free kick to Milan, which was my first reaction. It's almost an avuncular conversation here between a referee who's been around for a good while and a young player. But the decision has gone Inter's way. Now, is this going to be the moment for them? Well stopped by Rossi from Matthäus. In came Klinsmann. It was a spectacular shot.
Yeah, this shot really flew. Matthäus really gives this everything, and it really is a nice stop as well from Rossi. Gets every part of his body behind that and just pushes it out. But they can't give too many of them away. Matthäus is very dangerous from that sort of distance.
Bergami got a bang then. Well, Inter will extend their unbeaten run to 8 games if it stays at 1-1. And Milan still unbeaten for the season, but there could be some nervy moments yet. 2 minutes plus stoppage time. And Klinsmann caught around the larynx. Van Basten, it's still in play, and now Bergami. Van Basten seemed to be acting as counsel for Bergami then. I don't know what Bergami's done to deserve that. Maybe it's just mutual respect. Matthäus clears. And Galli coming well forward to make the challenge on Klinsmann. Got to the ball but was pushing as he did so. He's back in a beat now, much deeper in his own half. Bremer, with his capacity to loft the ball forward delicately and create chances. He's made himself available again on the left, but need to look to the opposite side. Matthäus hoists it in. Klinsmann competing well again. Now Bremer, dinking it back. Berti in there, difficult header for Maldini. Galli knew the safe way out. Rijkaard. Ferry. Well aware of the time on the clock, which is coming up to the 90 minutes. And Donadoni pursued doggedly by Nicola Berti. Here he is again. Oh, Galli's touch wasn't very good. Costa Curta helped him. Galli was trying to tee the ball up for himself to clear, and Costa Curta, in coming to the rescue, was caught. As you can see, we're into stoppage time now. Ray, it's always a pleasure to have access to these matches, and it's been the same again today.
It certainly has. We've been privileged to watch this game. It's been a super game of football. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the amount of goals that we thought at one stage that we might see, but I think it's had everything. It's been a very intriguing match.
And a fair result, if this is to be the result?
I think it's a fair result, yes. But it isn't over yet, and with players of the class of Klinsmann, Van Basten and the likes of Hulit, we still may see a victory.
But the referee has brought it to a halt straight away. So 1-1, the final score. Milan gave us their best football in the opening half an hour when their style was embroidered by Van Basten's goal, his 8th of the season. They also played well in adversity after Franco Baresi was sensationally sent off. Inter, either side of half-time, were strong and committed, and they made a good substitution to get Desiderio on. And Jürgen Klinsmann is back in business in front of goal. That's very good news for them as well. Inter 1, Milan 1. While Milan were dropping a point, would Juventus, in second place, be able to close the gap at home to Roma? Julio Cesar with early evidence of their sense of purpose. Roma, with 3 away wins already this season, had this chance to take the lead. Rudi Foller robbed of a goal by a terrific save from Tacconi. But Juventus had the sharper edge at this stage. Casiragh's low drive at goal, and then after 37 minutes from Alessio's corner, Salvatore Schillaci scoring only his 2nd goal of the season. He obviously relishes facing Roma, a hat-trick in this fixture last season. Roma roared back in the second half, though. Tacconi tested again by Rizzitelli this time, before an excellent equaliser, which was all the work of Giuseppe Giannini. Roma level in splendid style after 71 minutes. And they nearly went in front here. Vola against the post, and substitute Andrea Carnevali following up, but just off target. Juventus made the most of that escape. Julio Cesar, a constant threat at free kicks. And then with seconds remaining, the Brazilian cropped up on the left wing. The result, a most ironic own goal. The unlucky defender, De Marchi, is on loan at Roma from Juventus. Cruel for De Marchi because that was the winner. Schillaci tried his hardest to add to the lead in the little time that remained. 3 wins in a row, 5 in the last 6 games for Juventus. Lazio lying 4th, Napoli 3rd, the outcome a thriller in the Olympic Stadium. Napoli began brightly, particularly their Brazilians. First Careca, and then Alamao, anxious to strike at goal. But it was Lazio's foreigners soon to the fore. Ruben Sosa's centre, Karl-Heinz Riedler rising 1-0 after 25 minutes. Riedler at the moment is in prime form. Sosa as well, a master at free kicks. And Germany's Thomas Doll causing havoc here. All 3 of Lazio's non-Italians kept on their toes, perhaps, by the Paul Gascoigne situation. Goalkeeper Fiori, more fallible though, a fumble from Alamao. Ferrara presented with the equaliser. In the second half, Thomas Doll's delivery, perfect for Riedler. 7 goals for him in 7 games now. And Riedler responsible for Lazio's 3rd, provoking a foul from Blanc. And Ruben Sosa, so reliable from the penalty spot. 3-1 to Lazio. Even though Careca was close to pulling 1 goal back, Lazio should have sewn the match up here. Substitute Melchiori with a miss which will now haunt him, because with 11 minutes left, Napoli's French sweeper Blanc turned in his first goal in Italy, 3-2, and in stoppage time, Padovano climbing high and putting Zola in for the equaliser. A great recovery for Napoli. Incidentally, 15 of Lazio's 18 goals this season have come from their foreigners. Foggia had fallen to 6th place after last week's home defeat by Atalanta. Verona showing some signs of improvement after a terrible start. Their goalkeeper Gregori saving well from Baroni. Matched at the other end by Mancini's marvellous stop to prevent Rossi giving Verona the lead. Real enterprise from Foggia now from Grandini, but it was certainly the quality of the goalkeeping which kept the game goalless in the first half. The same story here, a superb touch by Dragan Stojkovic, Radu Choyu one-on-one with Mancini. Foggia made the surer start to the second half. 2 chances created, both for Baroni. But last year's second division champions failed to score for only the 2nd time this season. And they paid the full price for that. Free kick from Stojkovic, finding its way to the diving Davide Pellegrini. Verona moving onwards and upwards, 2 wins and 2 draws in their last 4 games. Atalanta's pattern this season has been peculiar, successful away but vulnerable at home. It took Parma only 10 minutes to reinforce that position. Ozio and Brolin instigating the attack. Alessandro Melli the scorer. And try as they did, Atalanta couldn't recover from that slack start. For the Brazilian Bianchesi, these frustrations would only increase. Atalanta have acquired Piovanelli, the former Pisa goal-getter, from Juventus, and his arrival from the bench did bring the promise of better things. Bourdin with a great give and go here with Piovanelli, but Tapparel was in terrific form. More Atalanta pressure here, leading to Pasciulo's shot. This time, Brazil's goalkeeper not called upon. But his fellow countryman, Bianchesi, disgraced himself with this over-the-top tackle on Minotti. A red card collected by the Brazilian. The points to Parma. For Cremonese, a 5th consecutive defeat. This one inflicted on them by Fiorentina.
Dunga teeing up Malushi in the first minute of the second half in Cremona. It might have improved for Cremonese when Lombardini launched himself into a diving header, but Maragini managed to reach it. Orlando's corner now. Battistuta first to it for Fiorentina, their lead 2-0 after an hour. A ray of hope for Cremonese here. Though Verdelli miskicked right on the line, he avoided acute embarrassment with a second scoring touch. 2-1 now. But then this familiar failing of Cremonese are sending off Bonomi for the second successive week, their 5th dismissal in 4 matches. A good time for Maialaro to come on for Fiorentina. He didn't capitalise on good work from Battistuta, but with seconds to go, a goal which would be given to Maialaro anywhere else in the world. But the shot flicked off Gian de Biaggi, and in Panicati, Italy, that goes down as an own goal. Ascoli in a similar plight to Cremonese. Cagliari not much better off, and even first half, Mercato not too far away from an Ascoli free kick. But Cagliari came good in the second half, inspired by their Uruguayan trio. Fonseca with this emphatic finish. Then Enzo Francescoli punished Ascoli with a probing run at pace, before laying on the goal, and the glory for Fonseca again. The move choreographed as perfectly as their celebrations. No luck for Ascoli. Their Argentinian Trollio tried hard to match the inspiration of the Uruguayans. And from then on, they left it to goalkeeper Lorieri. Herrera's header dealt with in a sequence of glittering saves. Napoli in particular was left wondering what he had to do to score. But for Lorieri, Ascoli would have left Sardinia with a much sorrier scoreline. Genoa had been in UEFA Cup action in midweek, a great win in Romania against Steaua Bucharest. Would they be worried by their exertions as Bari looked again for their first win? Hopeful signs, though Giampaolo finished wearily, and Berti saved brilliantly from Losetto. The frustration also felt by David Platt when his far post header was blocked. But typical of Bari's luck, Genoa's first shot brought a breathtaking goal from Fiorentina. Branco's free kick headed out by Fronia and met by Fiorentina with almost frightening force. A second half crammed with incident, Scuravi striking the foot of a post. Soda conspicuous in Bari's search for an equaliser. Bortolazzi backing his ability from far out of the free kick and almost picking up the winnings. Then Scuravi made it 2-0 from Aguilera's back header. Scuravi rounding off a fine week. He'd scored Genoa's goal in Romania in the UEFA Cup. Bari battled on. Earlier, David Platt had had a goal disallowed. This one counted with 3 minutes left. His 4th goal in the league. Bari have only scored 6 all told, but it couldn't prevent their 6th consecutive defeat. No pictures this week from Genoa, where Sampdoria and Torino drew 0-0. Both sides have produced good results in midweek in Europe, but in the league, the defending champions have now gone 7 games without a win. Sampdoria have now fallen another place, below Verona now, and they're only being kept out of the relegation zone because their goal difference is superior to Cagliari's. Cremonese, Ascoli and Bari already looking like 3 of the 4 sides which will go down to the 2nd division next season. The biggest rise at the top, Parma, whose 1-0 win away to Atalanta has lifted them from 10th to 6th. Juventus have closed the gap on Milan to just 1 point. Milan first to reach 20 points and also the first side to score 20 goals. 8 of those have come from Marco van Basten, who finished top scorer in Italy in the 1989-90 season, and he leads the charts again at the moment, ahead of Baiano, Riedler and Zola. Van Basten's latest goal rounded off a glorious Milan move, which showed off to the full the argument of those who believe that this is Milan's season for the championship. Despite Inter's claims for offside, this was a classic. It provided one lasting memory of the Milan Derby. The other was the ordering off of Franco Baresi, such a statesman-like figure in the Italian game, only the 3rd Milan player to get his marching orders in 212 derbies. His sadness in stark contrast to the utter joy of Jurgen Klinsmann only minutes earlier. Strikers are judged by goals, and Klinsmann has been feeling a failure. For Inter, his first goal of the season was well worth the wait.